Episode 2, the death of Ray Davis. Ray Davis moved to Oceanside in January 1962 after a separation from his wife. He lived with his brother at 525 South Tremont Street. The story begins on April 9th, 1962, when a threatening phone call was received by the Oceanside PD here at the old Oceanside police station. The call said, "I'm gonna pull a baffling crime here in Oceanside that you guys will never figure out." April 10th, 1962. On that evening, at 11:10 p.m., Ray Davis picks up his fare at the Mission Tremont intersection behind me. He radios into his dispatch that he's taking the fare to Southern Oceanside. That's the last time Ray Davis is heard from again that evening. When the dispatcher tries to reach him again, he does not answer. Zodiac Files, Episode 2. Right now, we're in the exact location of when Ray Davis was found in the alleyway behind the residence of the former mayor and current mayor in 1962. This is where the body was recovered. We're gonna do a crime scene breakdown with our co-host, Brian, and kind of let you guys know how everything played out. So the cab was found abandoned with a 220 fare on the meter. There was also a copy of the Richard S. Prather book, Dance with the Dead, found on the passenger side with Ray Davis's open wallet, which ruled out any motive of robbery. So there were 3 shots fired, 2 through the back of the seat, 1 through the back of the head, and both rounds were recovered. So we'll kind of get a breakdown of that from our co-host Brian and see how everything played out.
So my theory is the first shot, like Lake Herman Road, was to scare the driver. And then the second and third shot, boom, boom, were in the back through the cushion, because we know that the bullets ended up near the heart. And then the fourth shot was in the temple after Ray Davis was taken out of the cab.
So it should be noted that as per the coroner's report, that either of the 2 shots through the driver's side seat into the chest cavity could have been the kill shots, and both shots were recovered. Here in the alleyway where Ray Davis's body was recovered, 400 block of South Pacific, the taxi cab was discovered 2 miles north at 6:30 a.m. What should be noted are the similarities between the Davis murder and the other Zodiac attacks. 22 long ammunition used between the Davis murder, the Faraday Jensen attack at Lake Herman Road, as well as Johnny Ray and Joyce Swindle of Ocean Beach, and the Gavita Beach attacks of Domingos and Edwards. All used a similar style caliber ammunition. I also want to note that as the 2 shots were sent through the driver's side seat, as the possible body of Ray Davis was slumping down, another shot was fired directly through the windshield, and that could have been a possible miss. Obviously, ballistics were recovered from the case. Zodiac Files, Episode 2. Special guest for this episode, local historian Kristi Hawthorne. We're going to break down some of her notes that she uncovered the article on her blog, and we're very happy to have you for this episode.
Thank you so much.
You were kind of the one that brought this case to light, so you have some articles in the news that have covered your story. You also have your blog, which we will post below in the description. So I just want to kind of start off with like what you were researching that led you to this case originally.
Yeah, I was researching St. Malo, which is a very exclusive enclave, if you will. In fact, it used to be called Pasadena on the Rocks. Most of the people that owned homes, this was their second, even third home. Very exclusive community, and most of those people were from the Bel Air and Pasadena neighborhood. So I was doing some research and stumbled across a newspaper article that stated there was a murder, that a body had been left in the alley at St. Malo, and that's where it really kind of started. I was very intrigued, wanted to know what the tie was to St. Malo, and come to find out, that it was a cab driver that was left here in the alley.
So it caught your attention that it was a cold case, and then you begun to see some of the similarities with the Zodiac crimes in the Bay Area that you were familiar with.
Yeah, I started researching the newspaper to see if a suspect had been arrested, because my first intention was to find out was it an owner of St. Malo, and maybe there was a bit of scandal involved there. And unfortunately, I found out that the case had never been solved, and kept going through newspaper articles, and then found out that the Oceanside Police Department had published the fact that someone had actually pre-planned the murder, taunted them, called them, and then called back to take responsibility for the murder, and then said that he was going to go after buses next. And immediately I knew the similarities between the Zodiac Killer and what he did to Paul Stine up there in the San Francisco area. And I just couldn't let the case go at that point.
As we discussed, your blog was kind of the first one to take the case kind of public, and you got back in touch with the Oceanside PD. If you want to just break down how that went, because their cold cases only went back to the 70s.
I did. I did all my research first, and I tried to do a timeline. I brought my newspaper articles. I tried to get all of my facts straight, and then contacted the Oceanside Police Department of the Detective Division. There are fingerprints that the Oceanside Police Department collected. One of the things I was told by the Oceanside Police Department was that they have to be viable prints in order to then upload to APHIS. And so I think by now probably they are uploaded to APHIS. I'm just not privy to what's happening. And I would kind of like to think that maybe, something's happening behind the scenes. Maybe something big. They're not going to tell me. I think, honestly, if nothing had happened, if nothing was transpiring, and they said, I think the detective would give me the courtesy of at least an email and say, hey, they came back, nothing, no match. But maybe something's going on behind the scenes. I'm not really sure.
I'm of the same opinion.
It seems to me that there is definitely someone down here in Southern California, and he was quite transient. Whether they're the same person, whether this is all related, they're eerily similar. So, it begs the question, what was happening, and why aren't there any answers, and why aren't there cases solved in each of these cities? It's really a head scratcher, but I think one that needs to be, they all need to be solved, for the sake of the victims. And the excitement of it being tied to the Zodiac Killer is secondary, actually, when you think about the victims. But it is intriguing, the similarities to the Zodiac Killer.
Big thanks to our special guest, Kristi Hawthorne, local historian. You can find her work on her blog,
historiesandmysteries.blog.
And she's also on Twitter at Kristi Hawthorne. Anywhere else? You're on the forum with us,
yes.
So she can, she's there as well. And special thanks for being our special guest this episode. Episode 2, Zodiac Files, Ray Davis.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet all of you. It's been great.
Thank you very much. So this is the 400 block South Pacific alleyway where the taxi was recovered, 2 miles north of where Ray Davis's body was dumped. In conclusion, the story ends on April 16th, 1962, when the killer again phones in to Oceanside PD. He says, "Do you remember me? I was the one who told you I would get a taxi driver. Next time, I'm gonna get me a bus driver." It should be noted that the first phone call was not released publicly, so it's highly likely the only person who would have known about it would have been the killer himself. Thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of the Zodiac Files. Like and subscribe. Shares are appreciated. Tune in next time for episode 3, The Murder of Sherry Jo Bates. Thank you.